Welcome back to our podcast. Today we're diving deep into a fascinating story from the Bible, exploring the remarkable journey of Abraham. We'll be focusing on part two of his journey, titled A Journey of Obedience and Worship. I'm thrilled to have my co host with me.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to unpack this story that carries profound lessons about faith and trust.
Absolutely. So, we're looking at Genesis chapter 22, where Abraham faces one of the deepest tests of his faith. Right from the start, we see something powerful: Abraham's immediate obedience. In verse 3, it says, "Early the next morning." His reaction leaves no room for procrastination or doubt.
That's right. Can you imagine being asked to do something as monumental as what he faced? Most of us would hesitate, weighing our options. But here's Abraham, up at dawn, ready to follow what he believes is God's command. It says a lot about his faith, doesn't it?
It really does. Delayed obedience often leads to missed opportunities, or, worse, disobedience. When you sense God's direction, moving fast can be crucial. It's like if you were in a race and the starting pistol went off, you wouldn't just sit back and think about it, right?
That's a perfect analogy. And speaking of faith, this leads us to our second point: faith that God will provide. Abraham says in verse 8, God himself will provide the lamb. He didn't know how it would happen, but he trusted in God's character. That's profound trust.
Trusting God without knowing the details can be incredibly challenging. Many of us want a roadmap before we take that step. Yet sometimes all we need is to have confidence in God's nature. It's a reminder that we don't always need to have the full picture to take a step forward in faith.
Exactly. And I love how you pointed out Abraham's perspective of worship. In verse 5, he tells his servants, "We will worship, and then we will come back to you." This shows that his words were filled with faith even before the miracle occurred.
So true. It's as if worship becomes a powerful declaration of what's to come. And yet he's walking with his son, preparing to sacrifice him, which adds another layer of complexity to that statement. How could he say, "We will come back"? It's faith in action.
Yes, it reminds us that worship can often be prophetic, voicing confidence in the midst of uncertainty. That's a practice we can carry into our lives, declaring faith even when the solution isn't visible yet. How often do we do that?
Great question. This brings us to the next point: God's timing and intervention. In verse 11, when Abraham is about to make the sacrifice, the angel of the Lord called out to him from heaven. It's significant that God intervened at the last possible moment.
It is. It can be so tough to wait in those moments, but there is an incredible trust-building aspect to it. Sometimes breakthroughs and the provision we seek only come after we've surrendered everything. It challenges how we view waiting.
Absolutely. It's easy to feel abandoned when we're in a waiting period, but learning to trust in those moments shapes our character. It's during these challenges that we often discover more about ourselves and about God.
And that journey of discovery can lead to profound revelations. Take verse 14, for example. After this monumental test, Abraham renamed the place "the Lord will provide," Jehovah Jireh. This was significant.
Yes, that's a rich revelation. Up until that point, he knew God as a protector and a promise keeper. But after this test, he experienced a new facet of God's character. It's in those hard moments that we often encounter parts of God we never knew existed.
And that realization can shift our understanding of life's challenges. When we face our own difficulties, we might keep asking ourselves, what does my obedience look like when God asks for something costly?
Definitely. Or, do I trust God enough to believe he will provide when I lay something down? That's a hard question, and it demands reflection.
And let's not forget the proactive side of faith. What would it look like to go early in the morning when responding to God's voice in our lives? Doing so requires intention.
Intention indeed. It's about being ready and willing to act decisively, even when we might feel the urge to delay. And lastly, can we declare faith like Abraham did before the solution shows up? That level of trust is extraordinary.
That's a beautiful challenge for all of us. As we draw near to the end of our discussion, let's reflect on the key insights we've shared today. Abraham's immediate obedience, his faith in God's provision, the prophetic nature of worship, and the transformative experience of trusting in God through trials.
Right? Each moment in Abraham's journey teaches us about trusting God even when things seem impossible. It invites us to consider how we respond to challenges in our own lives.
And it encourages us to explore who God reveals himself to be through our own tests of faith. Just like Abraham discovered more of God's character with each step he took in obedience.
What a journey. Let's close with a prayer. Lord, help us trust you in our journeys like Abraham did. Allow us to act swiftly when you speak and to have faith in your provision even when the path seems unclear. Today we declare that you are our Jehovah Jireh. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for joining us today. We hope this discussion enriches your understanding and encourages you on your own journey of faith.
See you next time.